Hi, I'm Pete Albanese, CKBD. In this video, we're going to discuss kitchen and bath drawing standards, common mistakes, and what the judges will be looking for in terms of scoring your project. For this section of the judging process, the judges will be looking and thinking as they were the responsible person in charge of completing this project, and that this project can be executed as drawn. The first thing I want to make clear is that this section is based solely on the Kitchen and Bath Drawing Presentation book of your NKBA Professional Resource Library. Most of your questions will be answered by reviewing this volume. Your project needs to be neat, clean, and clutter-free. Make sure that your project is dimensioned properly, once again referring to the NKBA Professional Resource Library for proper dimensioning. For example, the necessary dimensions that are needed for a floor plan are overall dimensions, centerline dimensions, and usable space. That's what we will be looking for. Make sure that your dimensions are accurate, both on your floor plan and your elevations. Confirm that the dimensions on both documents match. The judges will take the time and add up the dimensions to verify that they are correct. The judges will scale and check your dimensions. For example, they may check the centerline dimensions for your appliances both on the floor plan and the elevations. One common mistake that we see all too often is that the designer relies on a CAD program. The program generates way too many dimensions. The designer does not take the time to check and correct or edit the generated dimensions from the CAD program. Typically, a CAD program will generate way too many unnecessary dimensions, which in turn makes your document look cluttered. Another common mistake, the designer will dimension in feet and inches as opposed to just inches. Your project must be printed to scale. You are permitted to use half-inch, quarter-inch, or metric scale. The scale that you choose must be indicated, and the judges will verify that it is correct. One common mistake is that although you have designed your project in a certain scale, shrinking down to fit on a piece of paper will skew the dimensions and lower your score. Is your project legible, neat, and clutter-free? Is your nomenclature properly located? Are the cabinets that you have modified numbered and detailed in the specification sheet? Are your appliances indicated and specified? Think of it this way. Can you pass this set of plans off to a contractor and have your project completed correctly? If your project has made it this far, it is in the scoring process. So if your technical portion of your entry is incomplete or weak, it will not be disqualified, but it's going to affect your overall score. So in summary, make sure that your project is printed to scale and the scale is noted. Is your project clutter-free and easy to interpret? Are your dimensions accurate? Did you follow the NKBA Kitchen and Bath Drawing Standards? And lastly, take a minute and look at your document as if you were a contractor or an installer. Can your project be executed? Is it a clear description of what you are trying to design? In our next video, we will be reviewing, submitting photographs, and your design statement.